Welcome to Business of Design. Business of Design is the world's best business training for interior design professionals like you. If you're ready to implement an exact business model for running a streamlined, profitable business, field tested by thousands of design professionals around the world, head to businessofdesign.com and get started today. It's time to dramatically improve your business and transform your life. Business of Design. There's only one.
Hello, you fabulous interior design professional. You are so lucky because today I'm going to do more than just love on you, which I try to do every single time. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge the way you think about your design business and maybe even inspire you to take a few bold leaps. It probably would be more accurate to say that our guests, Christina Samatas and Renee DiSanto from Park and Oak, are going to inspire you because I was certainly blown away by the conversation we had. Their insights into building not only a successful interior design firm, which is no small thing, but a next level lifestyle brand that includes retail events and even a cocktail lounge. Yes, a cocktail lounge. These are my kind of people. I'm going to deviate for a couple of seconds, though, and I promise this is related to the episode because I got an email from a longtime Business of Design member in Vancouver. It's someone I truly admire, someone whose career has been phenomenal, someone who's extremely generous in sending love and praise to Business of Design. And with Lori's permission, her name is Lori Steves, I am going to read you the note she sent me and tell you how it ties into this episode. Here's a note. It says, "Hey, it's been such a long time since I've been in touch, but I felt compelled to reach out because I just listened to Business of Design podcast episode 442, and it was like you were talking directly to me. I hadn't even realized that I've been flirting with burnout for the last few years. I've had a complete lack of passion and excitement for what I'm doing and thought regularly about throwing in the towel, even though on the surface, it looked like everything was going well. Record years, robust projects, etc. And then things got really slow in April and May as the tariffs were implemented and higher interest rates caused my clients to hang on more tightly to their money and to cut back and even cancel projects. I could see it was going to be a slow summer, so I took a small pay cut to conserve my resources and booked a bunch of travel. Well, what a summer it's been. I've come to realize that I want to work less and, more importantly, hustle less. I want to spend more time traveling, skiing, walking my dogs, reading, or just doing nothing if I feel like it. And I don't want to be managing renovation projects anymore. I love decorating, and so that has become my focus. Thank you for articulating the fact that I have the right and even the responsibility to design a business that feeds my soul rather than one that just drains me. Despite having less projects and generally less work, my profit margins are healthy and I have more time and energy to do things I want to do. What a gift. I hope you're well. I continue to direct colleagues to Business of Design at every opportunity, and thanks to Business of Design, I have a valued community of designer friends who inspire me." And then she says, "Please let me know if you ever find yourself in Vancouver. I would love to connect." Well, in a strange twist of the universe, I am flying to Vancouver tomorrow morning, I haven't been to Vancouver in years, but I do an annual cycling trip, and we are going to be cycling in Vancouver Islands, Victoria and Salt Spring and Tofino, and I'm so excited about it. And Lori and I are meeting up for coffee, and I think it's been a decade since I've seen her. So the email is so special because I know exactly how Lori feels and has felt. If you're listening and you're having a similar experience, you are not alone, right? We have all been there. I am so grateful I had this trip coming up because whenever burnout is kind of nipping at my heels, travel really helps. And sometimes the solution to burnout, and this is how it ties into the episode, sometimes the solution to burnout is just trying something different, something totally new, like, I don't know, opening a retail store or a cocktail bar, like our two guests that you're just going to really adore. In my case, I was really struggling with burnout a few years ago. I decided to sign up for some improv classes and I auditioned for the Groundling in Los Angeles. And it is no exaggeration to say I got my butt kicked. There are people who are so good at this. And I was not, but I had fun and it helped snap me out of being complacent. And it brought me to a return to something that I love doing, which is tap dancing, believe it or not, which I'm actually okay at, pretty good at. So stay honest with the people in your life. Tell them if you're experiencing burnout or feelings of just not that into your business. Find a group that pushes you to take care of yourself in all the ways. Like, absolutely, you want a group that pushes you to run an amazing business. But also, sometimes the answer is stepping up in some new way when you see burnout on the horizon. Now, Christina and Renee, as I said, from Park and Oak, have also had some aha moments like the one Lori just shared in her email. And they realized that sticking to traditional interior projects was just scratching the surface. So they started experimenting. They're launching retail pop-ups, hosting events, creating immersive experiences in ways that completely redefined what their brand could be. And, here's the thing. They didn't start with a perfect plan. They learned by doing, by testing, and by failing fast, and then pivoting even faster. When you are able to push past the fear and trust your vision and structure your business to support experimentation, so many things are possible. So in today's episode, you're going to walk away with actionable insights that you can implement immediately. And you're going to hear how they added services without losing their brand identity, which I think is really important, and how to think beyond the traditional studio model to expand your revenue streams. Maybe that's something for you to think about. So whether you're just starting out, whether you're thinking about a pivot, or you're looking for ways to scale up, or hey, scale down, right? Without losing your soul, this episode is packed with insights and inspiration and a few laughs as well. So stick around, maybe take some notes, maybe pour yourself a cocktail. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. For me, this is my last official duty before I get on a plane and head to Vancouver and get to hang out with Lori, which will be such a gift. And every single episode with you guys is a gift. So I just want to thank you so much for being part of my success story. I'm so grateful if we're part of your success story. And if you haven't jumped into business of design yet, man, you just really are missing out on a community that can push you to far greater heights than you ever imagined. Either way, we're glad you're here. Quick announcements and into the show. And take care, everybody. Wish me luck. A lot of hills in BC.
Thanks, Kimberly. Well, we definitely love hearing from longtime members and past members, and it's really incredible the different businesses you hear about when our members are able to establish more profitable businesses by servicing fewer clients. It gives them the flexibility to really create businesses that support more of what they love, and they're not necessarily the cookie cutter business that you thought you were getting into, where it's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So many stories about our members slowly cutting down hours, working 3-day weeks and earning more than they did 5 years ago when they worked overtime. It is possible, and we would love to help you do that. As Kimberly said, we would love to have you in our community. It's not just about the support from us, it's about hearing other designers' stories and experiences. They are implementing the same systems that you will be implementing. They are actively using the same systems, in some cases for years and years, and they've maintained their membership to stay part of the community and to onboard new staff members through the programming. So it's all there for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Join us. And if you are a longtime member, or your finances are something that you're not comfortable with and struggle with, we want to focus in on that this fall with our 6-week financial boot camp. It kicks off October 16th. So if you're interested, Don't wait. Please sign up today. It's going to be a 6-week intensive program where 2 hours every Thursday we get together. In between, there's going to be office hours. You can reach out for spot coaching at any time because you are going to have homework in between. We want to see results and changes in your business during those 6 weeks, and we would love for you to join us. Registration is open on the website. And of course, if you have questions about anything we do here at Business of Design, reach out to me at any time. You can also set up a member discovery call with me. Good of a job as I think we do, sharing what's included with a Business of Design. There's always somebody with more questions, and we don't want those questions to hold you back. I am available. I would love to answer those questions with you. I think by default, most people jump in and start with the BOD 15, and that's not necessarily what's right for you and your business. If you're struggling with cash flow or pricing, we have programs for that as well, and we can have that conversation and make sure that you are starting out with the right program and start seeing results in the first month, and from there, membership will pay for itself over and over again. We're that confident in what we provide, so please reach out to me. Check out membership, check out the 6-week financial bootcamp on the website. We would love to be part of your success.
Well, it is such a pleasure to meet you guys, although it's this way instead of in real life. I've heard so much about you. Christina and Renee from Park and Oak. Tell us a little bit about your company and your background before we get into what the meat of the episode is going to be.
Hi. Yeah, it's so great to be here. Thanks for having us. I'm Christina and this is Renee. We started our company, like 10 years ago now. This is our 10-year anniversary. Oh, gee.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel like we should have champagne or something.
Oh,
but you didn't start from interior design. You guys had two wildly different backgrounds.
did. I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I started in public relations and special events, worked in marketing. And then after I had my first son, stayed at home for a bit. And then after my second son was born, was getting a little antsy, wanted to get back into things, but didn't necessarily want to go back into that realm. So I entered design school. So like I had a few days where I would go downtown and I felt so like invigorated. And then after that, I didn't finish design school, but I started working at a design firm. And that was like the best experience. I felt like I was just really at home and where I wanted to be. And I had a third child at the time, and the commute was getting tough. So I felt like I had to drop something. And so I left what I thought was my dream job, came home to 3 kids. And then at that time, a builder that I had worked with on my own personal home and offered an opportunity to, do some work on the side whenever I had the time working with some of their custom build clients. So I really got an opportunity to lean in and learn that whole side of the business as well. So the construction side of things. And then those clients started to turn into furnishing clients. So about that time, I meet Renee. We knew each other because we live in the same neighborhood, but we hadn't worked together. We had 6 kids under like 6.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You had a daycare. Yeah, between the two of you, you had daycare.
Yeah, we had a lot of things going on.
So my background is a little bit different. I actually went to business school, but had an easel set up in my room and was doing oil paintings on the side during school. And knew I wasn't 100% like everybody else that was going into finance and accounting.
The other people in your program didn't have easels in their room. They were more like, had the Wall Street Journal.
Right, exactly. And everybody was going into finance, accounting, and it's a little bit different. So I ended up right after school starting a graphic design business, and then also doing these oil paintings and selling them in a tent at art fairs.
Good. Already making money. I like this because most interior design firms don't start even thinking about that. You're already making money, Renee.
I was trying. So eventually, after having kids, I started a cake business because I was making cakes for their birthday parties and different events that we had. So people started hiring me. It was kind of an unintentional business. And then that turned into something bigger that it was hard to manage on the weekends with brides and big events, having young kids. That's when I met Chris.
So you had a food blog, and which was like your little, I'm going to tell her story for her. It was like her transition where she didn't have to do as many cakes. Renee's also, I always describe her as very artistic, just like very creative. So she liked to photograph what she was making cakes. And so she started to blog about it. And then she actually made my daughter's first birthday cake and my son's like cake that looked like a Porsche, like race car. Like, I mean, these were beautiful, tasty cakes. So they were really impressive. So her food blog made sense, but then she was wanting to like grow it. And this is at the time, gosh, this is over 11 years ago. So like the blogging world was like really just like taking off then. And she was great at it. She would photograph it. She would make these things. And then she was wanting to transition more into a lifestyle blog. And we had worked together on a few things on her own home. I was at the design firm I was working at, and that's sort of what initially connected us, even though we lived down the street from each other, but just didn't interact as much. Yeah. And when she did the lifestyle blog, she asked if I wanted to contribute on the design side. And my personality, I like to fly under the radar. I don't like to be out there. And he's like, oh, it's fine. It'll be great. So then we started working together a bit on that. And then we just kept meeting up. And then I was working on some projects and she was curious about that. And then it went into, well, why don't you photograph things? And I'm like, oh, no, I like to fly under the radar. One leads to the next. It's great. And then Renee's like,
I don't know if that's a good marketing strategy.
She's like, I don't know if that's a good business model either.
Right?
So we just kept meeting up naturally, like kept like coming together on things, and our synergy together, because we are the yin and the yang, really complemented each other well. And after transition out of the cakes and my business started to like grow and have potential, we almost decided immediately. It was very much like everything we do. Very quick. It was like,
makes sense.
We should work together. We should do this. Like, if you want to do.
And spoiler alert, you have not modified your key characteristics of like wanting it all and thinking big and being willing to jump into whatever fancies your entrepreneurial eye. Because today I would say you're kind of an example of a pair that is doing it all. So that's kind of where I wanted to launch in for everybody listening. If you've thought, wow, is it worth growing my interior design business in some other design adjacent way? What are the benefits? What are the risks? Is it going to be fun? How does it work? That's what I want you guys to tell us about. Like, at what point did the design business get going and what happened from there?
This episode is brought to you by Aquavado and the House of Roll Studio in Toronto. Aquavado is a trade-focused plumbing showroom designed to support interior designers like us with expert product guidance, educational support, and concierge-level service. Inside, the House of Roll Studio has curated selections of Perrin & Rowe, Roll, Shaw's, Victoria and Albert, Emtech, and Schwab. On Tuesday, October 7th, House of Roll Studio will host studio sessions for designers looking to build a social media strategy that will target ideal clients and build brand equity. The panel features Tiffany Lee, Paris McKenna, Olivia Beautry, and Chelsea Mazur, 4 women who've grown strong, distinctive brands from humble beginnings by using social media with clarity, consistency, and purpose. Learn more and RSVP at aquavado.com/designers. That's AQUAVATO.com/designers. And BOD listeners, you can use the promo code BODstudio25 to get 25% off registration. Enter the code at checkout when registering for any Studio Sessions event.
And then we were looking around town and then walked by a store that, it's right on Pennsylvania, which is downtown Glen Ellen, and decided, maybe we open a retail store at this point because we're struggling with accessories and the whole process. For at the end, when we were trying to order things for clients and then we would put it into a storage unit, things were breaking, there's no inventory tracking. So we said, well, I guess we could open a store. Let's try this and see what happens. we have all the inventory already. We had 3 storage units full of stuff. So we decided to enter that world, which was new. And we didn't know much about it. And it was a huge undertaking to get, all of the products, create different SKUs, to tag everything, to manage that.
Well, I think to give it a little backstory, I would like to say that like I think a lot of people get trapped in the space of like overthinking things. And maybe that's actually beneficial in a lot of spaces. But for Renee and I, we tend to just jump in and then figure it out and like learn what we don't know, and then mess up quite a bit and then learn from those mistakes and constantly refine the process. And then we were needing more space for the design team. And it just so happened that the 2 spaces next to the store were becoming available. And one was like a workout gym and one was a real dive bar. And
I'm not sure which one I would want more next to my design office. Maybe depends on the day.
them both. So
So it was, and it had been vacant for a long time. So when we went into this bar and looked at it, it was bad. It was in bad shape. And we're like, what do we do with this space? So we ended up saying, well, maybe we'll open a cocktail bar, because it is this bar from the early 1900s. And it has this whole history. It's the first bar in Glen Ellen. So we felt like, you know what, we need to bring this back to life.
well, there was a little transition there.
Yeah.
Time did not want to open a bar. We opened it. We were just like, we can't get rid of the bar. This is like original. This is like been here from the beginning. So we agreed to keep that portion, but that it was going to be more of like a shopping experience, part of the experience, like come into the world of Parkano, have a cocktail, feel really good, and then buy some things, and then maybe look at the design service side of things too.
And that was the original idea. But what we realized was that's not what happened the first weekend. So people came in
And they wouldn't leave.
and it was
Because they came in for a drink and then they just like the space so much, or
they came in later, and it wasn't as much like walking around having a glass of champagne. It was like you come into the bar. There's a lot of comfortable seating, which we realized too, that people will stay when you have comfortable seating. So people would sit down and stay for hours. We ended up having to jump in, and actually, I jumped behind the bar. I have no bartending experience.
I became a server again, back to my post-college days.
but I love how scrappy you are. Like, right? So often I find, particularly women they'll get an opportunity to do something exciting and new, and they'll say, well, I don't know, that's not really what I've been trained in. You might want to find someone who's an expert. And you're all like, no, we can do this. Roll up your sleeves, figure out how to make a, margarita. Let's go.
Right.
Honestly, we have a motto for that. We call it Team MSH. Make shit happen. I don't know.
You whispered on the word happen. You're like, make shit happen.
Yeah. So it's like Team MSH. Like if we don't know, we figure it out.
Figure it out.
And
We Google it.
yeah,
Like,
lots of Google.
Yeah.
How do you make this
Lots of books. I read a lot of books.
Yeah. Ultimately, how does this help your design business? Because I know it has. It works.
It's been great. So what's happened is evolved. So the first year it was a cocktail lounge, and then people started asking to have more and more events there.
Okay.
So almost every Saturday and Sunday we have bridal showers now. And then people they'll actually have weddings in the space. So they'll have their ceremony and reception. We'll have corporate events, birthday
Were
parties.
you tempted to say, do you want us to make the cake?
No, I can't get her to make anything anymore. I think she threw all the pans out. Like now her daughter is like taking like
She
that
has
reign.
taken over. Yes.
Wow.
But
Amazing.
it's really been exciting because the environment itself constantly gets referred to as like just like you feel like you're in someone's home, but you're not. You don't have to do the cleanup and you don't have to do the setup, and so it has that comfortability about it. But then they also sit around here and they're like, well, I want this in my house. I want this in my home. How can I achieve this? What can we do to get this in our home?
I'm dying to get on a plane and come see it in person. It just sounds spectacular. It reminds me years ago, there used to be a place in Dallas called Lady Primrose. And do you remember Lady Primrose? Did you know it?
I'm from Texas originally. I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh my gosh. That is what it reminded me of. And I've never found anything that was quite that enchanting, where every corner of the store was owned by a different merchant. And when you had lunch or tea there, you sat in the antique section or you sat in the jewelry section.
Yeah.
It was just like a little surprise every time you were there. Did that inspire you in any way?
I honestly forgot about that place until you just said it. So that is,
amazing.
I'm sure all of these, they say that all of your life experiences all somehow like come together and create like your thoughts and your actions. And so I'm sure somewhere back in my mind, because I remember going for tea with my mom and such, but like it's all of these different experiences put together. But we even have the center section of the studio where we have a full kitchen. So like that's great because it helps with the design clients when we're talking through cabinetry and appliances and just layouts and such. But then it also helps with the event side of things and different opportunities that can be like having like offerings there.
I think if there's a takeaway, though, it's like just say yes and see what happens. But I think that, I'm not going to discount your past experiences. You had some design school training and background. Christina had business training and background, marketing. So in a sense, you brought to the table the really important people you might hire if you were on your own. So maybe that's a takeaway for everyone as well.
For sure. Renee and I have leaned into that, definitely. Like what we don't know, we also either try to learn, but also hire, in the very first step, as you often hear with creatives, was hiring that financial piece and making sure that that person was in place because somebody who was better at that was needed and was necessary, but didn't mean that we couldn't know about it. Like we still needed to understand it so that we can ask intelligent questions and be thoughtful about it. But having someone else handle the day-to-day on that is really important.
There's no doubt in my mind that you could not have gotten where you are without talent. I'm sure there was some luck and there's some like just fantastic can-do spirit, but it's really talent at the end of the day that people are coming back to you for all the time. So big things ahead. We like to end every episode with something we call design intervention, which is just a great piece of advice you want to leave everybody with.
I'll say the best advice that I could give anyone is just be open to pivoting. Like follow your passion, lean into whatever you like love, and even through the hard things, like push through that, because after you get through that, like it's when it gets really great. But there's lots of trial and errors, and I always talk about like the universe giving you fire hoops, like how badly do you want this? And so it'll test you and test you and test you. So don't give up and just keep going.
I love it. I love it. You guys seem like a great partnership. Did you want to add something, Renee?
I think ultimately it's important to not be afraid to fail. So jumped into a lot of different things and we could fail, but we said, if we do fail, well, at least we tried. Something came out of it. We learned something and then we'll try the next thing. So we've tried a lot of crazy ideas. And then we have had some issues that have come up and we learn from it. We keep revising and evolving. So if we hadn't taken those risks, though, then, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
Well, I think it's venture capitalists say fail often and fail fast. Just go in, come in hot. And if it's not working, get out.
Right.
I am not afraid of failing, but I tend to hang on a little bit too long. And I get the impression you guys were a little light on your feet and made fast decisions that it just kept you ahead of the trend all the time. And tell everybody where we can find out more information about what you're up to.
You could visit us on our website at Park and Oak.
We actually have 3 different websites.
Yeah,
because it's Park and Oak, And then we have PO Collected, which is the retail website. And then we have the Park and Oak Parlor website as well, which is events in the cocktail lounge.
And all three Instagram handles.
Yes.
Of course, yeah. Definitely following you on Instagram. You guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.